Welcome back to 2IT Sports. Francis here for a little tactical discussion. You know, just a small game this weekend. Just the Euro 2016 final. France, the host nation, up against Portugal. Cristiano Ronaldo looks in fine form after his performance against Wales, but will he hold up against the resilient French? Let's talk some tactics. So we're going to start with the French. This is how I imagine they'll line up. They may not do so because Sissoko had a pretty good game, to be fair. This is a man who went missing in several occasions for Newcastle this year. But I would prefer, I think if I was looking for France to win this game, that N'Golo Kante comes back in, and I'll explain that in a minute. But at the back, Sagna, Koscielny, Umtiti, who's had a great past couple of games as he's moved into that centre defender role. I'm sure Barcelona are happy with that. Good acquisition from them. Patrice Evra, Kante, Matuidi, Pogba, Payet, Griezmann and Giroud. Now, although this is how I imagine they set up, they're very versatile, especially when they come to being more compact. So, for instance, when you look to the iPad, if they come up against Portugal on an onslaught from an attack, they'll look like more of just a flat 4-4-2 with the license of Matuidi to go and press the ball out here, Pogba holding centre, or if it's Kante holding it in here, he gives a license for both central midfielders to hunt the ball in a pack and try and suffocate their opponent, like they did very well against Germany. But the main thing I'm going to talk about here is going forward. So, Portugal, in their game against Wales, Robson Kanu, who plays up top for Wales, he had a good tournament. I think he's a decent talent, but he was asked to do a job that I didn't think worked as well tactically as what they should have done. Portugal had no real strain or pressure on the centre-backs, even though they were weakened with Pepe, who might not make his way back. We don't know. But what we can assume is that if they go with Fonte and Bruno Alves at the back, you need to put some pressure on those guys. They aren't the quickest at the back, and it will allow for room for that man, Antoine Griezmann, to burst in behind. So what you want to see, rather than what Kanu was doing, so Olivier Giroud, good striker holding the ball up. At times, Giroud will wander into this area, look for the ball in behind. He does not need to do that. That is a big no. First time I've ever wrote on the iPad, there's a first for everything. So what you don't want him is doing that. Robson Kanu, a lot of the time, moved in here to try and create some space for wide runners. But France, a little bit more compact on their attack, a little bit more direct. Giroud does not need to waste his energy doing that. All he has to do is check right into either Pepe or Alves or Fonte, whoever it is, and check into this area. He wants to push onto them as a striker should do. It's the first thing that's taught from a striker. You back up into the defender, let him know you're there, then you check into this space. He did this exact same thing against Iceland. And you know who works so well cohesively with him? Antoine Griezmann made this fantastic run for his goal against Iceland. The ball found its way into the midfield, and Griezmann made this run. He checked to the left, if you watch him right, to his right. And then he made this darting run right in behind. And Giroud, all he had to do was check into this space. He put himself up against his opponent, checked to, let him know he was there, then he checked to the ball, and the ball was drilled in at such pace that Giroud just let it wander through his legs. And for all you knew, Antoine Griezmann was in behind for a beautiful finish in behind. So Portugal against Wales, although things started a little rocky at the start, Gareth Bale found some space. I never really felt like the centre defenders were threatened. I'm not going to sit here and give a plan A, B, C or D. I'm just going to go with what I've seen working for France already. Antoine Griezmann's movement off the ball is their most prized possession. It's his best asset. It's something I've highlighted about this player for the last year or so. And I think that if Antoine Griezmann is given that freedom in behind, he's quicker. Although Pepe is no slouch, and Pepe, if he happens to come in, will know Antoine Griezmann very well after just playing him in the Champions League final. But if we take Atletico Madrid, for example, Antoine Griezmann wasn't allowed to do Antoine Griezmann things because he did not have enough support, or that ball played in behind when he got into the final third, because Atletico Madrid were too defensive at times. That's my worry when you play Sissoko, Matuidi and Pogba. You don't give Pogba the license to do what he can do in the final third, moving higher up the park. He's got great vision, great passing ability, almost £100 million worth. Let's not go overboard. Either way, what I want to see is if N'Golo Kante plays, what he does very well is Kante does like to put pressure into all these areas, but he gives Matuidi and Pogba more of a license to move up the park. Sissoko did a good job of putting pressure on. But even though this is something that N'Golo Kante wasn't best at last season, his positional sense, he kind of was drawn like a moth to a flame at times to go and win the ball. He does a better job positionally than Sissoko. He's more defensive-minded. Sissoko at times likes to go and join in. But if you've got N'Golo Kante in there, what he's going to allow for Paul Pogba to do is just to move above that kind of midfield bank. Just move into this area, pick up possession. And I would trust Paul Pogba over any other midfielder in the French jersey to try and find those balls in behind for Antoine Griezmann and give the ball into Payet in those attacking areas. So those couple of things, that change it might be all it takes for France to go on and get the victory. But let's talk about Portugal. So when you look at Portugal against Wales, fantastic goal from Cristiano Ronaldo first and foremost. Great leap in the box. One of the best of the tournament so far. But I'm going to use Germany's performance against France as a direct reference as what Portugal should look to avoid. Germany controlled the majority of possession. A lot of people in the recap were taking that possession to mean that they were the better team, and suddenly were just swayed by the 67% possession at times in the middle of the park and how well Schweinsteiger and Kroos played together. It doesn't mean anything if you don't really threaten. I didn't for one moment think that Germany looked so threatening in the box. Those deep-lying crosses were simply cupcakes to France. They were just eating them up. No problem. Keep giving me them. You can cross the ball in from deep all you want, but it's not going to cause us any problems. The one thing that France do have a problem with is Iceland, directly isolated, is the fullbacks. Patrice Evra is not defensively as sound as he used to be. It was exploited at the first game by Romania, and not enough teams are doing what they should be doing to exploit that again. Instead, they're getting the ball deep. They're allowing France to retreat into their own box. If France get the option of getting these three midfielders behind the ball, Kante, Pogba and Matuidi, there's no point in putting the ball into the box here because they're going to hunt for every second ball. Even if you think if Ronaldo moves into this area and challenges, the second ball will simply fall to these hyenas. Kante and Matuidi hunt the ball down like no other. Pogba hunts the ball down. You're not going to find success by dropping the balls in deep. And that's why Germany, I thought, just kind of fell by the wayside towards the end of the game. What they'll have to do is they'll try and hold possession a little bit deeper. Renato Sanchez will work well to pick up the ball in here. And what I want to see is I want to see Nani moving off the ball and have Cristiano Ronaldo do exactly what Giroud's been doing for France. He works as the point man. His job is to check into, cause a problem in the centre-backs. Umtiti's inexperienced. Ronaldo should be playing on Umtiti and dragging him out of position, dragging him out and posing the question for France to either have N'Golo Kante pick up Ronaldo, dropping the ball in deep. Ronaldo doesn't need to pick the ball up in here like he has been doing for Portugal. His job, as he does for Real Madrid when Benzema's not playing every week, is he needs to act more of a central striker. He's got those tendencies. He's got that instinctive finish. He's got the great heading ability. What with Nani working off him, as Nani does well to float in behind, Ronaldo needs to try and exploit the inexperience of this centre-back pairing. Because Koscielny and Umtiti haven't played together all that long, but they were given a free rein to simply head the ball out and defend in chaotic environments. They were comfortable sitting in their own box, heading the ball out with that dynamic, hard-working midfield. They were able to just withstand that pressure, absorb it like a big sponge. Whereas if Portugal really want to get in behind, what they have to do is have Ronaldo pose the question to Umtiti, have him drag out a little bit, maybe N'Golo Kante picks up Ronaldo, that leaves some space for Nani to make the dynamic run in behind, and in doing so, at least try and get the ball into this deep area if you want to whip it across. Because if they whip the ball in deep, it's just going to be the same rain for France. I don't imagine this being a high-scoring game. A lot of people have predicted 2-0 France, 2-1 Portugal. I don't know what games you've been watching. Yes, France got 2 goals against a very hard team to beat in Germany, but I think Portugal will go into this game and be happy to take it to extra time. And that is going to be my prediction. I think it's going to be 0-0. I hate that prediction because I want goals in the Euros. I want goals. Maybe 1-1 might be a better go-to, but I'm going to stick with my guns. 0-0, Portugal won it in penalty kicks. I may be right, I may be wrong. I will own up to the fact that I will be wrong, but I do want to reiterate that I changed my point of view, and I'm not changing it so that I'm safe on both hands. I won't turn up at the end and be like, I predicted France to win it at the start, but in Portugal I predicted them before the game and win, so it's a win-win for me. I will hold my hands up and say, slag off the guy with the bow tie, I was wrong. But in this game, I think Portugal might take it in penalties. But I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. I appreciate all the constant viewership we've got throughout the Euros. I'm sad it's coming to an end. Hit me up on Twitter, Francis_Maxwell, and I'll see you guys soon.